India's Chandrayaan-3 mission marked a groundbreaking achievement in lunar exploration. The mission's 2 probes made an unexpected discovery, something no one had previously imagined existed on the Moon. Venturing into the Moon's rugged and frigid South Polar region, India became the first nation to explore this uncharted territory with such boldness. However, after the initial success, something went wrong. Since then, the global scientific community has been waiting anxiously for updates, hoping for new images or encouraging news from the mission. For quite some time, the status of Chandrayaan-3 remained uncertain. The Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO, occasionally released hints that sparked renewed hope for fresh data and revelations. On August 23, 2023, the Vikram lander and Pragyan rover were deployed in a high-risk operation near the Moon's south pole. With that historic landing, India became the 4th country to successfully land on the Moon. This achievement was especially meaningful following the earlier failure of the Chandrayaan-2 mission. The successful touchdown of Chandrayaan-3 sparked nationwide celebration and pride across India. The mission lasted for 1 lunar day, equivalent to 14 Earth days, after which both units were placed in sleep mode. In India, scientists and engineers hoped to revive the probes once the long lunar night had passed. However, the Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO, had not equipped either unit with heating systems. Lunar nights in the polar regions can plunge to extreme temperatures, reaching as low as -200 degrees Celsius. Efforts to reactivate the probes in September 2023 were unsuccessful. In October, a vague and cryptic message sparked speculation, but multiple attempts to establish contact yielded unclear results. Were signals received, or was it just radio silence? The fate of Vikram and Pragyan remained uncertain. Despite the inability to wake the probes after the lunar night, ISRO still considered the mission a full success. Remarkably, the agency had never intended for the probes to survive beyond the initial lunar day, at least, according to their official statements. Millions of dollars were poured into developing a lander and rover designed to operate for just 14 days, only to be shut down shortly after. It sounds unbelievable, and it is, especially considering that a basic heating system could have significantly extended their operational lifespan. International experts have criticized the mission as a missed opportunity and even a potential cover-up. Many suspect ISRO simply overlooked the need to make the lander and rover resistant to extreme cold, a modification that would have required only minimal additional cost. The Vikram lander was technically capable of transmitting data from the lunar surface for months, possibly even years. The same goes for the small rover, Pragyan, which barely traveled 100 meters before going offline. Despite the high costs, the rover only demonstrated a fraction of its potential during its brief period of activity. Scientists and space enthusiasts around the world waited eagerly for more updates, detailed mission reports, and new images. At one point, rumors circulated online claiming that ISRO had successfully revived both Vikram and Pragyan. But those hopes were dashed when it was confirmed that the reports and images were false. ISRO ultimately admitted, clearly and officially, that both systems were irreparably frozen or damaged, and that no new data had been received since fall 2023. Despite its short operational period, Chandrayaan-3 has been officially declared a scientifically completed mission. Chandrayaan-3 in facts and images. Before Chandrayaan-3, no other country had accomplished what India did with this mission. It was the first time a spacecraft successfully targeted and landed near the Moon's south pole, a region never before explored in this way. What made the feat even more remarkable was the use of an entirely new, fully automatic landing system. These milestones earned India widespread recognition in the global space community. On August 23, 2023, the nation celebrated this historic achievement. Because of the South Pole's location relative to Earth, maintaining direct radio contact with the landers wasn't possible during descent. Although the 1.5-second communication delay is manageable for surface operations, it becomes a major obstacle during real-time landings, where even small errors can lead to failure. To overcome this, ISRO introduced a groundbreaking autonomous landing technology. Using onboard cameras and intelligent navigation systems, the lander was able to assess its surroundings, adjust its course in real time, and execute a safe touchdown without human intervention. The carrier module continuously scanned the landing area during descent, making instant corrections to ensure mission success. A few days after touchdown, ISRO released the first images of the Vikram lander and glimpses of the Pragyan rover as it rolled out from beneath the lander and began its journey across the lunar surface. Vikram quickly began collecting its first data, sending back valuable scientific information. Both Vikram and Pragyan transmitted their findings to a third spacecraft orbiting the Moon, which then relayed the data back to Earth. The mission's primary goals were to measure surface temperature and study the environmental conditions at the Moon's south pole, an area of great scientific interest. Future missions aim to explore this region further, especially to assess the presence and quantity of water. For their debut mission, Vikram and Pragyan were outfitted with over a dozen scientific instruments. Vikram used a laser-based tool to analyze lunar rocks and found evidence suggesting that water deposits may lie deeper beneath the surface than previously thought. Together, the lander and rover also deployed a seismometer to detect moonquakes and monitor atmospheric conditions. They had a limited window, just 10 days, to complete their scientific objectives before the lunar night set in. What they accomplished in that brief time has now become a significant chapter in space exploration history. Chandrayaan 3 and the sulfur discovery at the lunar South Pole. One of the most remarkable scientific achievements of the Chandrayaan 3 mission was the detection of sulfur at the Moon's South Pole. During its brief operational period, the Pragyan rover employed laser-induced spectroscopy, a technique where a laser vaporizes the surface material, and the emitted light is analyzed to determine its composition. This marked the first-ever direct in-situ elemental measurement conducted on the Moon. The analysis not only confirmed the presence of sulfur, but also revealed aluminum, iron, calcium, titanium, manganese, silicon, and oxygen. Prior to this, the existence of sulfur had only been inferred from orbital data, making this a groundbreaking confirmation. Unlike previous lunar reconnaissance missions that never directly detected it on the Moon's surface, India's LIBS sensor successfully analyzed highly precise elemental concentrations in minute dust and rock samples within seconds. This alone is considered a major triumph for the Chandrayaan 3 mission among scientific experts. Thanks to its high sensitivity, the sensor could clearly differentiate between surface and subsurface materials, a task made easier by the rover's six-wheel design, which allowed it to investigate slightly elevated crater rims with ease. Sulfur, the element detected, holds dual significance. It could be valuable for both lunar colonization and industrial applications. For researchers, its presence is particularly exciting, as it points to past volcanic activity on the Moon. The sulfur was found in combination with minerals typically associated with hydrothermal processes, further supporting this theory. This discovery positions the Moon as a potential source of raw materials in the future. The identification of sulfur may well mark the beginning of a new chapter in lunar exploration and resource utilization. Back in the 1990s, the movie Total Recall imagined Mars as a human colony bustling with mining activity, a vision that felt like pure science fiction at the time. Fast forward to today, and the idea of colonizing space doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore, especially when it comes to the Moon. Recent discoveries of rare and valuable materials are dramatically reshaping our perception of the Moon. If it turns out to be a rich reservoir of industrial and rare elements, and reachable within a practical time frame, it could supercharge the advancement of space technology. Current research is particularly focused on 3 key resources: helium, 3, various metals, and geochemical elements like sulfur, oxygen, and hydrogen. Among them, helium 3 stands out as a potential game-changer, a clean fuel source for future nuclear fusion. Some still believe that nuclear fusion is beyond our current scientific capabilities, but that's not entirely accurate. Fusion is indeed possible, though today's methods rely on isotopes that don't yield enough energy to offset the cost of the process. Helium-3, however, could change that equation.